Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's Stories of Yanko back here with another video, and I'm about to make the fanboys mad with this. Even my homeboy, he a Dev fanboy. Me, I appreciate Devin Haney as a boxer and what he does, his craft, but I'm honest. I'm not one of these guys who's a stan of this guy. I always have points. It's not me grasping little things to try to make an argument. I lay out the timelines. I lay out the facts behind it. If you want articles, I can start doing that. But these are undisputed facts that I'm going to lay out for you guys. Devin Haney, he done fooled y'all. He done tricked y'all. Bamboozled. You know? And what I mean by that is him and Bill Haney have done such a good job of branding and making Devin Haney out to be something that he's not. And people fall for it because they take everything at surface value. And if you're a Dev fanboy or a Devin Haney hater, I'm neither one. You're going to believe the opposite, or you're going to believe the narrative that's sitting in front of you that agrees with your thought process. Me, I go based on what I can see with my own two eyes. And the whole situation with Tiger Johnson, I referenced it, and before I made this video, I was like, I'm seeing a lot of things and it's starting to make sense. I felt like Devin Haney and his camp was trying to usurp the buzz and the shine that was over Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, because this was the biggest event of those guys' generation. Those two guys fighting each other, it meant something. It really meant something. And whoever came out on top of that became the guy. Tank didn't get turned until after he fought Ryan. Like, even though Ryan wasn't a real 4 king, he had enough of a name and popularity. He still had his O and everything. He had enough buzz surrounding him. Also Tank. So when they fought, it did pay-per-view numbers. It did a lot of money. And then after that, Tank really became the guy. This is a similar situation, but with actually 2 skilled fighters. All disrespect to Ryan Garcia. All right. But Teofimo Lopez, 2 times lineal. Shakur, 1 time lineal. Right? 3 division world champion. Teo, 2 division world champion. Right? This is a big thing. And people gave, I saw all the polls and everything. People was giving Teo a real chance, and Shakur made him look like a bum. Right? But throughout that whole process, Tiger Johnson showing up, I feel like it had nothing to do with what he said online. I feel like that was the excuse. His brothers and people was told to start something, because keep in mind, Devin Haney was doing an interview at the time that was going on. I feel like Bill Haney, his whole camp, they say, we gonna steal off on this nigga. We finna start some shit, because keep in mind, his brother threw the first punch. And it spilled out into this whole thing. And even before the event, Bill Haney was talking about, oh, I want the winner of Teo and Shakur. Dude, they're at 140. You're at 147. How can you make a demand like that? How? But keeping your name in the news cycle. Bill Haney has done a good job of that. Even Devin Haney, to an extent, when he was trying to dress like Tank Davis and everything, trying to replicate, to become more popular, to, whatever. Stealing Mayweather phrases, all that stuff with the Brian Norman Jr. build up. All of that. They try to get his name out there, trying to be something that he's not, okay? And this is no different. Start some shit with Tiger Johnson, get your name in the headlines. Even after the fight, to be fair, Keyshawn Davis did call Devin Haney out, but that's something that him and Bill was talking about before. But I understand Keyshawn Davis, businessman. He was talking about fighting Dalton Smith and Lewis Crocker. He was always rumored to Lewis Crocker between Matchroom and everything. Very connected with Eddie Hearn, Jay Prince, all of that. That was already in talks, but his fans only hear Devin Haney. So when he says, oh, I'll go Dalton Smith or Lewis Crocker or Devin Haney, they see it as a duck. It's not a duck. It's not a duck. Whatever fight makes the most sense for Keyshawn Davis makes the most sense. And I gotta just lay it out, bro. Him calling out Shakur Stevenson was clout chasing at its finest, because We know the groundwork that Shakur had laid before. He said he's not coming up to 147 to fight Conor Ben or Devin Haney without a rehydration clause. And all I heard throughout the whole build up to this fight, they was hating on the event, by the way. And it sold out. How Shakur looks so big, he needs to go up to 147 and fight Dev because he looks big. I'm bigger than Devin Haney and Shakur. I can't make 147. I can make 154 though. You know, Devin Haney is not a natural 147 pounder. Why do you think a rehydration clause is such an issue? Let's keep it real now. You don't really expose the weight bully shit until you start talking about rehydration clause. Shakur ain't no weight bully. That's why he can demand a rehydration clause. Dev is a weight bully. He's going to weigh in at 165 on fight night. Shakur says, hey, not 165, like 168. All right. And Shakur doesn't drain himself of water. He diets down to make the weight. He walks around like 150, 145. That's according to his coach. But he already knows the narrative surrounding Shakur and this rehydration clause. So he knows the public is on his side, right? Oh, that's lame. That's this. So let me call out Shakur and Keyshawn Davis. Keep my name in the news cycle. Let me make it seem like I want to fight Shakur, knowing damn well I'm not going to agree to those terms. Shakur just said, just don't come in at over 160 on fight night. I feel like that's fair. You're calling me up. I just made the biggest bag I've ever made. Sold out Madison Square Garden with Teofimo Lopez. I'm the guy now. I'm the guy, and he is the guy. He is the guy. He has the best name on his resume out of all the four kings, and he's the guy. You're calling me up to fight you. I got options. You don't have options. You can't get a fight right now. Devin Haney been calling everybody's name out. He don't know where his next meal coming from. You know? He don't know when his next fight. He can't get the fight with Lewis Crocker. Eddie Hearn said, who gonna pay for it? Rolly don't want to fight him, and Turkey's not offering the bag for it. You know, if Ryan loses to Mario Barrios, that's off the table. You're talking about Xander Zayas. Xander Zayas already said that he might move up to 160. Why are you calling out a guy who said that he was moving up to a different weight class if he can't get a big fight at 154? You're not at 154. So why you trying to call him out just to say his name? And also, who said that you was going to get an opportunity to fight a unified champion anyway? Is this that same thing where it's like, oh, Boots dropped his belts and said that he was moving up to 154? Y'all forget about that when we talk about this rehydration clause with Shakur, right? Boots had dropped his belts and said he was moving up to 154. And then that's when Devin Haney said, oh, Boots, let's fight at 147. After he done damn vacated his belts and everything. He said, okay, cool. Let's go ahead and fight at 152 a catchweight. Devin Haney said, I haven't fought at 147 yet. Because Devin Haney does a good job of pretending like he wants to fight these guys. This narrative, Devin Haney wants to fight everybody. No, he doesn't. He wants to make it seem like he wants to fight everybody, like Virgil Ortiz. Boots is out of place. He's saying that he's going to unify at 147. What does Virgil Ortiz and Turkey do? Oh, let's make the fight at 154. Nigga, you already know I just said I'm unifying. I'm trying to submit my legacy at 147. Why are you calling me up now? Brian Norman Jr., Mario Barrios ducking. Stanley Under said yes. I cooked him. I'm waiting on Brian Norman Jr. He over here, he wanted to go fight Jin Sasaki. So what I'm finna do is just go move up. I already submitted my legacy. Lineal champion, all of that. Why are you calling me back down to a weight class that I just left? Because you want to say my name. You want to make it seem like you want to fight Jerome Boots Ennis until Jerome Boots Ennis says, let's fight at a catchweight. And I thought that a rehydration clause was bad for Devin Haney and that it sucks and it's lame and all this other shit, right? Keep in mind, he struggled to make 135. He struggled to make 140. So you think he's a natural 147 pounder? No, he's not. He's not a natural 147 pounder. So a 152 catchweight should be no problem. It should be no problem, but you don't really want to fight Boots. You were only a one division world champion. Kambosos got all the belts. Yes, you're going to have to take a pay cut because he just beat Teofimo Lopez. He just beat Tio. He took his belts. He beat the guy that beat Loma. So yes, you're going to have to go to his country and you're going to have to fight him. And you're going to have to take the pay cut because you're a one division world champion. And so is he. And guess what? He got all the belts and he beat one of the biggest stars pound for pound in the sport. We not finna sit up here and try to compare what you had to do against Kambosos, like versus you offering a contract to Shakur Stevenson that's fair, because Shakur was already a lineal champion, already a unified lineal champion. So you can't offer him what you offered Kambosos, because once again, he's a lot closer to you than you was to Kambosos at the time. So when we talk about Shakur not accepting the offer that Devin Haney gave to him, and that was a duck, and he had the opportunity to fight Dev, right? What happened when Shakur Stevenson petitioned the WBC? What happened? He got a fair purse, and what did Dev do? He dropped his fucking belts and moved up to 140 to challenge Regis. Okay. Devin Haney does a good job. Very good job. Same thing with like Virgil Ortiz. Them niggas are masters at manipulating the public perception of them wanting to fight everyone. Boots was at 147. Soon as he moved to 154, now Virgil got all these excuses. Hopefully the fight gets made. But you see everything, the whole Golden Boy shit got turned upside down because of Jerron Boots Ennis. Devin Haney ain't the demon y'all think he is, and he's not the star that y'all think he is. His fans make it seem like everybody got to come to him and make the fight happen with him, but he don't got to make the fight happen with nobody else. Last time I checked, Devin Haney was independent. Devin Haney had his own promotional company. So why doesn't Devin Haney put a fight card together and offer a Lewis Crocker, a Rolly Romero, a contract? $2 million, $1.5 million, something, because that's his own money, by the way. So you got to put on the card. You got to pay the guys on the undercard, right? You got to pay them too. So what we looking at? You got to use your own pocket, your own money to make that event happen. But the issue is you're not a big enough star and you're not going to get a return on it. You're not going to get a return on it. You know, if you send this contract out, all you're doing is just paying a lot of fucking money for a belt. You're not going to sell out Madison Square Garden. You're not going to sell out the MGM. You're not selling out none of that. Nobody's showing up to see you fight Lewis Crocker or Rolly Romero. You are waiting for Turkey Al-Sheikh to fund every single thing you do. And niggas keep talking about motion this, motion that. These niggas, Tio and Shakur, did it in the States. They did it in the States. The Latino and the black community came out to support this. Keep in mind, Shakur is half Puerto Rican. Whatever. But that's what happened. When it comes to Devin Haney versus the Shakur, or Devin Haney versus the Keyshawn, that's our people. We got to come out and we got to support that. But you know how our people are, as soon as we see the ticket price, like, man, nigga, I ain't paying that to go see, you know? But a Tank Davis, they're going to watch that. People across all races, black, white, Hispanic, they'll go watch the Tank because it's going to be exciting. They're going to see a knockout. But with a Devin Haney and a Shakur Stevenson, it's already presumed that this is going to be a boring fight. And Devin Haney don't make it better, because regardless of what you guys feel about that second round between him and Brian Norman Jr., that is the only fight that was on the original main card. We understand, you know, Janabek, okay? That was the only fight on the main card that is still under 1 million views on YouTube. And keep in mind, that was the one that sold the whole event. Brian Norman Jr., Sr., Bill Haney, Devin Haney, you know, all of them going back and forth. It was very entertaining, and they sold the card, but yet it was the least viewed. Nobody cared about it because it got boring as hell. Jab, jab, clinch. Nobody can tell you what happened after round 2 because it's such a blur, because it's forgettable. Devin Haney was 2 rounds away from being a draw with Brian Norman Jr. because Brian Norman Jr. started to storm back in the later rounds. He started to storm back because Devin Haney, he don't keep his foot on the gas. He sits on a lead. That's all he did, was sit on a lead. He didn't outbox Brian Norman Jr. for 12 rounds. Brian Norman Jr., he just didn't have shit to offer him. No jab, No head movement, no foot, nothing. He didn't have no offense. But I'm glad that he got with Derrick James, right? It wasn't that Devin Haney outboxed Brian Norman Jr. and he was just so many levels above. Brian Norman Jr. lost the fight. He lost that fight. The fight was there to win for sure, but we gave him a puncher's chance just based on the power that he had. But it's no disrespect to Devin Haney, not taking anything away from him, but Devin Haney hasn't had a knockdown since Regis, right? And it's not that Devin Haney has more power at 147. We've seen Brian Norman Jr. get knocked down by a guy who didn't have any power to begin with, right? We done seen that before. So Devin Haney knocking him down, it shouldn't be a surprise. I don't think that Devin Haney got more power at 147. I think that Brian Norman Jr. is chinny, all right? I think that might be the truth. And trying to usurp Shakur Stevenson around this time, it's really just clout chasing. You're not going to make the fight. Let's stop it. And his fans, let's stop acting like Shakur is at the mercy of Devin Haney. That nigga don't got a fight lined up. Who told you that you can challenge the unified champion at 154? Nigga, you're not a player at 154. Who told you that? And Boots would be his mandatory anyway. Go through his mandatory. Oh, you're not going to do that. We know you're not. So what's all this stuff? You can't get a fight unification at 147. You damn sure can't get no fight at 154. 154. You're not gonna fight none of the other killers at 154. You're not doing none of that. You're not doing none of that. You're not even calling out Richardson Hitchens to come up. You're only calling out Shakur or Keyshawn. And speaking about Keyshawn Davis, right? What have you seen from Devin Haney to make you think that he can beat a Keyshawn Davis? We saw Keyshawn Davis stop a guy who had never been stopped before. A guy that pushed Loma, a guy that pushed Teal and arguably beat them. Keyshawn Davis came damn near a year off. Wasn't even the best form of Keyshawn and stopped this guy. Made him look like a rookie, just like how Shakur made Teal look. And all I hear is that, oh, Devin Haney would have did the same thing. No, the fuck he wouldn't have. He didn't do it against Brian Norman Jr. He didn't do. Jermaine Ortiz and Teal are more skilled and better fighters than Brian Norman Jr. And all he could do was clinch and jab. Single jabs, by the way. Low output. Same thing he did against Ramirez. Low output. Single jabs. Footwork. Amazing. But let's not sit up here and act like that's going to beat a Keyshawn Davis or that's going to beat a Shakur Stevenson. It's not. Once you get past the jab, the nigga has no inside game, no mid-range, no nothing. Devin Haney does not have the bag of a Keyshawn Davis. Does not have the bag of a Shakur Stevenson. I'm comparing Devin Haney to these other generational talents. These other guys who are the top names. Oh, he would have did Teal the same way. No, the nigga lost 4 rounds to Brian Norman Jr. No, he wouldn't have. It would have been a lot more competitive between him and Devin Haney. It probably would have went to a split decision. Maybe Devin Haney wins, maybe he loses. But Shakur is a lot faster. His hands are a lot faster. And I think he's shown that he has a better jab. Devin Haney has a great jab. Hitchison has a great jab. Boots has a great jab. Abdullah has a great jab. Devin Haney isn't the only nigga in the sport with a good jab. But we can say he has a good jab, but who was he hitting with that jab? Regis, a nigga with no head movement, no feet. Who did he use that jab on? A old small Loma. And people say he lost the fight. I think he won it, but guess what? It was close, right? Jose Ramirez, no feet, no head movement, can't cut off the ring. Brian Norman Jr., no feet, can't cut off the ring, no offense, no head movement. He's using the jab, this great jab, against niggas who can't get past it. He's not using this jab against some elite prime fighter. Shakur used his jab against elite prime fighter. You know? Keyshawn used his jab against an elite fighter that's still young, that's in his prime around his size. And I'm not trying to take away from Devin Haney, but we got to look at what Devin Haney is in comparison to his peers and who are they fighting in front of. Just because he's able to hit, a goddamn Regis Prograis with a 1-2 and knock him down, that doesn't mean he's going to do that to no Keyshawn. This narrative that Keyshawn has bad footwork. No, he does not. Keyshawn Davis is a front foot fighter. He uses angles, shifts, and pivots. Same as Bram Rodriguez, front foot fighter, shifts and pivots. Virgil Ortiz, shifts and pivots. You see more of that towards offensive oriented fighters. You see more of lateral movement by guys who, are who set lateral traps, trying to lure their guys in. Maybe a Boot Sinis, Abdullah Mason. But the side to side shit, you usually see that a lot from back foot fighters. Devin Haney is a back foot fighter. Alberto Puello, back foot fighter. Richardson Hitchin, back foot fighter. These guys don't have like crazy output or nothing like that. They use their range and everything, their length, to bother and disrupt other fighters. Right? So when we talk about footwork, there's different kinds of footwork. Shakur has subtle footwork. In range, outer range. In range, outer range. That's what it is. Like, it's not this just because you're able to have lateral movement, or like, I think Xander Zayas and Jermaine Ortiz have better footwork than Devin Haney. But it's how you use it for your game. Devin Haney don't got no crazy footwork on offense. He has good defensive footwork. But once you get past that jab, it's over with. He don't have shit for you. He gonna clinch or try to tie up. And guess what? You can't do that to Keyshawn Davis or Shakur Stevenson. I saw Jermaine Ortiz try to clinch Keyshawn. No, nigga, get off me. It's not gonna happen. You can sometimes clinch against them, but it's not gonna happen because they're good counterpunchers. You try to tie them up, they're gonna hit you. They're gonna hit you. You can't do that shit. So it's like, when I'm keeping it so real, people are picking Devin Haney because Devin Haney. They're not picking him because they haven't seen anything in Keyshawn Davis or Shakur's bag to believe that they can defeat him. They're picking Devin Haney because they picked him from the start. They didn't pick him because they really believe that he can beat Shakur or Keyshawn. They picked him because they're a fan. They picked him because they're a fanboy. They picked him because that's just their guy. And that's cool. That's fine. But don't sit up here and tell me that, like my homeboy, this shit was ridiculous. He said that even Shakur's daughter said that he lost to Zepeda. That's where we're at. That's how desperate his fans are. I'm sorry. Devin Haney, he's not the star y'all think he is. He wouldn't be fighting on Saudi undercards if he was. I'm just keeping it real. Shakur is never not going to fight in a main event again. Shakur is a main event fighter now. That's moving forward. Now, Devin Haney, we don't know. I don't think he's going to be in the main event for a while. It's going to have to be against the Shakur. And guess what? He's the B side. He's the B side. He, like, keeping it real. Even if he comes up to 147, he's the B side. This nigga's calling everybody out because he don't know when his next fight is. He's not a big enough a name in terms of a draw. He's a name, but he's not a draw. Let me say that, right? He doesn't bring exciting fights to the table. Guys don't want to fight him, but the guys that would fight him, they have other options. It is not up to every other fighter to crawl to Devin Haney. Devin Haney is a name, but he ain't got the cachet to bring niggas to him like a Tank Davis, like a Mayweather. Y'all keep trying to compare this nigga to them. He is not them. He's not them. He's not even a Shakur now. Shakur and Tank have separated themselves from a Ryan Garcia, a Devin Haney, a Teofimo Lopez. They are separate. They have separated. The commercial success now. The names, like Teo is the best name between all the four kings. And Shakur has that on his resume, and he made it look easy. And all I hear from Devin Haney fans, oh, he would have made it, he would have did the same thing. No, he wouldn't have. He didn't make the fight with Jose Ramirez look easy. It was a painful, very painful watch. Very painful watch. It was horrible. Least punches thrown in boxing history. I think that's the stat, right? With Brian Norman Jr. After round 2, bunch of clinching, holding, single jabs per round. And you're telling me he would have did Teofimo Lopez like that? No, he wouldn't have. No, he wouldn't have did Jermaine Ortiz like that. The reason why Keyshawn and Shakur can do that, because they are those guys. They got a bag. And let's talk about Ryan Garcia, man. That whole thing with the Osterine, yes, he is a cheater. He's absolutely a cheater. Horrible. He's trash. But guess what? That's how Devin Haney believed that he could beat him. He saw what Tank Davis did with Ryan Garcia. He wanted some of that juice. He wanted that. Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis did crazy pay-per-view numbers. Did good gate numbers. So he wanted some of that. It didn't do the same numbers. But Ryan Garcia still had enough buzz on his name to where, people would show up. So he seen, man, I can beat Ryan. And he could. He was doing great. And he got beat because he had fundamental flaws. It wasn't the Osterine. It wasn't that. I hate to say that because Ryan Garcia is a cheater. He is. But Devin Haney has shown he can be hurt. Booty shaking, twerking back to the corner. We've never seen Shakur get hurt. We've seen against Albright, Keyshawn get hurt. But we've seen Keyshawn Davis hurt more people. We've seen him hurt more people than the other way around. Devin Haney got dropped 3 times. It's because he was shooting the bow and arrow. Because he has that low guard. He wasn't bringing his hands back to his face. He has fundamental flaws. Most of the knockouts he got was in Mexico. He wasn't knocking pros out like that. Ryan Garcia knocked him down with the same hook that he hit other niggas with and knocked them out with. So I hate to say it wasn't the Osterine. It was a fundamental flaw in his fight game that made him lose that fight. So don't come and tell me now that he can fight Shakur, he can fight Keyshawn. They would have never been in that same position. They're too damn good defensively. They go from offense to defense very fast. Defense to offense, like they do that. Devin Haney doesn't do that. He's either one or the other. So after that Ryan Garcia fight, he became this fighter that is, he uses his footwork a lot more. But he throws less because he's scared of what's coming back. You can't tell me that if he's in a fight with a Shakur, in a fight with a Keyshawn, especially Keyshawn, a guy with IQ, with great punch selection, good jab, good frames, everything. Keyshawn is elite. He ain't Brian Norman Jr. He ain't none of the niggas that he done fought before. He's better than them. He's shown that he's better than Loma. He stopped the guy that Loma couldn't stop, that Teo couldn't stop. Made him look, the guy that gave them competitive fights arguably beat them. He made that guy look like a fucking bum. You had a hard time with Loma. Loma pushed you. Split decision. He pushed you, my guy. That was one of your toughest fights. That was your toughest fight. And the guy that gave him hell and arguably beat him, he made that. I understand that's fight math at that point. I understand. I get it. I understand. But still, we're using a triangle. Fuck it. Because that's what y'all doing. Y'all using a triangle. Oh, he beats Brian Norman Jr., so that means he could beat Keyshawn. Keyshawn ain't Brian Norman Jr. Keyshawn ain't Loma. He dogged the guy that gave Loma problems, gave Teo problems. He dogged him. It was not even competitive. Stopped him. So, yes, I'm picking Keyshawn Davis based on that. He showed me that the niggas that you have trouble with and the guys they had trouble with, it's an easy night for Keyshawn and for Shakur. Why the fuck would I believe that Devin Haney can beat these guys? Based off of what? The nigga barely throws a 1-2. His shots are very looping. You can sneak in shots like, dude, Devin Haney has not shown you anything to make you believe he can beat. He's not going to beat Tank either. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Devin Haney has not shown you that he can beat any of these other guys that's in the same tier as him or in the same conversations and circles as him. Brian Norman Jr. wasn't in the same conversation as him. Regis wasn't in the same conversation as him. I'm talking about within his generation, of course. Like, they wasn't in those conversations. Sure, he tried to fight T.O., but T.O. ducked him and didn't want to fight him. Rolly's ducking him. But at the same time, you wasn't bringing enough money to the table to where their promoters can force that fight to happen because they're going to get a return whether their fighter wins or loses. It's about commercial success. It's not just about what can we do to get this fighter to Devin Haney. A lot of his fans sit up here and say that, oh, he wants to fight the best. No, he does not. You niggas sat up here and said that he was getting blackballed because other fighters at 147, the other champions, wouldn't fight him. But y'all didn't say the same shit about Boots, though. Y'all didn't say that about Boots. Like, y'all didn't say that. Boots had to take, what Boots did is what Devin Haney should do. Either move up and get fights or take less money. You're not finna do that. Boots gave up more money to Stanionis just for that nigga to get in the ring with him. Boots gave Stanionis the bigger side of the purse just for him to get in the ring with him, and he dogged him. That's what you do when you can't get the real fights, when people are really ducking you. You make sacrifices. We not talking about Kambosos. Kambosos was on the same tier as you. He just had more belts. He beat the guy. You hadn't beat a Teofimo Lopez to demand a bigger purse. You only had one belt. You know? So, come on now. Like, it's like, I'm not finna sit up here. I explain it in such a way to where there's no narratives. And once again, with the rehydration clause, you are calling out the guy that just became the guy. You're not the guy. You're fighting on Saudi on the cards. I was fighting on Saudi on the cards. But guess what? I just sold out Madison Square Garden. I just did that. You ain't did that. So if we gonna fight, it's gonna be on my terms. You can fight my bro Keyshawn. You can fight my bro Keyshawn. Make that fight happen. Send him a contract. Really make it happen. Really make it happen. And I'm hoping to see that fight. But I don't think that fight gonna happen. I don't think Devin Haney really wants to fight no damn Keyshawn Davis. And if he does fight him, he's going to lose. He's going to lose, bruh. You ain't gonna be able to blame no Osterine. You ain't gonna be able to blame the weight. None of that. If he fights Keyshawn Davis is going to whoop his ass. And a lot of people are just gonna be in shock. Because it's like you're not comparing the skills, the fundamentals. You're not comparing what you see. Keyshawn Davis is going to make it look easy. He's going to make it look easy. You're losing rounds to Brian Norman Jr., a guy with terrible fundamentals. A guy with no footwork at all, not offensive or defensive. A guy who don't use his jab, who has no bag. You're losing rounds to that guy. You're losing rounds to that guy. So imagine against a Keyshawn Davis who is a fucking mini Bud Crawford with IQ, a mean streak, power, real power. He could whip a body shot. Great defensively. Shakur Stevenson. Great defensively. Best defensive fighter in the sport. Great counterpuncher. Both of them great counterpunchers. Timing, all that. And you want me to believe that these guys are ducking him? Nigga, you're chasing out Keyshawn Davis, he wants to fight. But you're chasing out the Shakur. Your name don't hold no weight no more. You are not more popular now than you was back at 135. Devin Haney's star has not risen. You're not going to become a star fighting on Saudi undercards. You make a name in your state and you can go, not in your state, your country, whatever, and you can go fight on Saudi undercards. But you're not finna become a star hoping that Turkey subsidize every little thing you do. At least with Shakur and T.O., they gave a return. They sold out Madison Square Garden. They did that. What are you going to do? His fans can say anything that they want. At the end of the day, your guy is begging for somebody to fight him. Please make a fight with me. Please. I don't know when my next fight is coming because I'm not a draw. And the guys that I do want to fight, like a Rolly, a Lewis Crocker, all that stuff, He wants, and his fans want, an empty, undisputed run. No substance. Oh, Dad want to fight everybody. Why the fuck you want to fight Lewis Crocker and Rolly for? Why? Why not just wait until the Ryan Garcia rematch? His fans want him to get an easy, undisputed run. That's what they want. That's what. They know that the 147 is the worst division in boxing right now. Oh, these are easy belts to get. So we can claim that Dev is a 2-time undisputed champion, and we can have that over Shakur and Tink and all of that stuff. You can accomplish that. I bet you still ain't selling out Madison Square Garden because you're not beating the guys. Shakur just beat one of the guys. He just did that. You haven't done that. Tank beat one of the guys, even though Ryan Garcia is trash in hindsight. At the time, he was one of the guys. The reason why those two fighters, Tank and Shakur, now have the motion because they beat their peers. You have not beat none of your peers. You could say, oh, they ducked this, they ducked that. You ducked Shakur. You didn't get in the ring with Boots. You made it seem like you wanted to fight Boots. Now you want part of that shine. Now you want to make it seem like you want to fight Shakur, knowing damn well you're not going to accept the rehydration clause. You're trying to make it seem like you want to fight. Yeah, say a nigga name. That's it. And I'm exposing the truth. Devin Haney got y'all fooled. He got y'all fooled. This nigga done tricked y'all, made y'all believe. I done broke down everything. You can't, there ain't no gaps in my argument at all, my nigga. But I ain't no Devin Haney hater. I hope that I love what him and Bill Haney have done. Father, son, very successful, rich, you know? But when we start comparing Devin Haney to these other generational talents and his peers, it's holes in his fight game, and it's holes in his commercial success. It's holes in his image. It's holes in that. He can't sell. The lone pay-per-view didn't do that well. Regis didn't do that well. Ryan didn't do as good as the Tank and Ryan fight. You are not the draw. You are not the A side. In the Shakur Stevenson talks, you're the A side and versus Keyshawn. But let's see if that fight happens. I don't think it will. Hopefully it does. But these guys are not ducking him. They're better than him. And you could put some money on Devin Haney. You're going to be a broke ass nigga. This nigga ain't never, he has not shown you he can fight a boxer puncher or a guy that can box just as well as him, if not better. He ain't never shown you that. He showed you can get hurt. He showed you can get caught with a left hook. He showed you that he can throw single jabs and clinch. This nigga ain't showing you no offensive bag. The closest thing you got was a Regis fight, and that nigga had no feet at all. Worse than Brian Norman Jr. So, we'll see what happens. But peace.